Falcon's Flight, the world's longest, tallest, and fastest roller coaster, is now officially complete. Every piece of track is in place on this monstrous of a roller coaster. But the big question is that we're all wondering, just how good will this insane new coaster from Intamin be? And will we ever see a park out there take any of the records from Falcon's Flight? My name is Brandon, and after doing a lot of thinking about it and praying about it, I have decided the best way I can see this channel growing the way I want it to grow, and to give you guys all sorts of great content from predictions, recommendations, top 10s, ranking videos, and breaking news updates, it's best that I just call the channel Theme Park Brandon. Make it simple and yet memorable. And I really do appreciate all the support, and I promise you I will send everyone one of my shirts if I would ever decide to change the name again in the next couple years. I promise I am done. Thank you so much for the support. Now, let's talk about Falcon's Flight. Falcon's Flight checks in at 13,943 feet long. That is just crazy. I mean, words cannot even imagine how crazy that really is. The highest point of the coaster is 638 feet, with the ride's longest drop being 519 feet. Falcon's Flight's going to have a top speed of 155 miles an hour. This coaster creation from Intamin is really going to be something else from start to finish. I mean, this ride experience will go down as the best coaster ride experience out there, from the speed, the visuals, to the height, to the adrenaline pumping that you're going to get while you ride this coaster. You and 13 other riders get to experience this every time a train goes up and down that enormous airtime hill, which is around the same size as the iconic St. Louis Arch, just to show you a size comparison. Again, Falcon's Flight is just insane. And if you're like me and you love to follow the updates on Falcon's Flight, then you have to get on X and be sure to follow Theme Park Brandon, of course, but also, most importantly, follow Wallin Ballin. He always posts some awesome construction updates on Falcon's Flight and Six Flags Qiddiya, so be sure to go follow him because he has a great insight on just how awesome this park is going to be, and most importantly, just how insane Falcon's Flight's going to be, of course, when it opens. So from what we know now is Falcon's Flight's going to be opening sometime in 2025, which is great because this coaster again is officially complete, meaning that every piece of track is now in place, which means that testing is right around the corner. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like over at Six Flags Qiddiya in a few months, but I'd imagine it's going to be hot and dry like it always is. So I would definitely think testing could take place potentially by the end of the year. And that alone, I mean, just imagine until we see the real POV of this thing in person. I really hope that my friends East Coasters can get out there to ride it, because I need to see a 4K or even 5K version of a POV of this ride just to see it. This is going to be a few years before I get out there to go experience it myself. And with that being said, when are you going to go ride Falcon's Flight? Let me know in the comments, because this park features 8 coasters and it's just a beautiful, beautiful park. This whole area is going to be really well done when it's all said and finished. And I have so many good friends of mine who want to go visit it and want me to visit, so I cannot wait to go check it out. But back to Falcon's Flight. The first half of the coaster seems like your typical Intamin hyper coaster. Nothing crazy, just a ton of great airtime, some wicked cool transitions, and a lot of good sense of speed throughout the ride as you're heading towards the giant quarry wall. And I would imagine about this time you're probably getting your palms a little sweaty as you're seeing this ginormous structure, as well as that drop off the cliff, get closer and closer, knowing that you're about to extend up this ginormous rock cliff wall to the top of it. And once the train reaches the top, that's when I think we're all going to have that awe coaster moment. Like, you are on top of a giant cliff wall, and you're looking out and seeing the park way down below. The trains are not traveling at a very high speed at this point, so you have a moment to take it all in. And this right here is around the halfway point of the ride, and you're just thinking, this is just insane. I'm actually here at Six Flags Qiddiya riding Falcon's Flight, the world's tallest, longest, and fastest coaster. And then by the time you think that, you're plummeting off of the cliff wall, traveling downwards towards this tunnel. Then once you reach the tunnel, that's when all hell breaks loose, because located inside of that tunnel is a launch. Falcon's flight is so insane that as you're traveling downwards off the cliff, you enter the tunnel that's going to propel you even faster as you continue traveling downwards towards the most impressive roller coaster element ever created. And honestly, in our lifetime, this will probably be the craziest one that we will ever get to see. Once the train crests over this impressive airtime hill, and I really hope there's some at least floating airtime on this, you're going to be able to capture views of the rest of the park as well as the area all around you. And as much as I would love to see some ejector airtime on this hill, I kind of don't want it, just so we can kind of really maximize the time as you're floating over this huge hill and just taking in everything that you're witnessing, all the feelings that your body's getting at the moment as you're looking around and seeing just how high you really are. It's no doubt that this airtime hill is the most impressive and most talked about element of this coaster, just on the sheer size of it alone. And the rest of the layout for Falcon's flight features a great airtime hills, some beautiful looking swooping turns, as well as a cool overbank turn, and interaction with the park's main entrance, as well as the racetrack that intertwines throughout the supports of this coaster. Overall, Falcon's flight is going to be phenomenal. This coaster will not feature any inversions, but it features so many great elements out there that make it a world-class roller coaster that every roller coaster enthusiast needs to go experience for themselves. And since you're like me and you like roller coasters and maybe 3 other people, go check out this shirt at my online store at keepridingcoasters.com, where I design all my comfortable and affordable coaster merch so we can all wear it in the parks together. I really do appreciate all the support. Now, will we ever see a park build a bigger, longer, faster coaster than Falcon's flight? And it's really tough. I mean, Six Flags Qiddiya played this the best way possible. They made it virtually impossible for any park out there to break any of these records due to the giant cliff wall that's located in the back side of the park. So whatever park out there that could break this record, they're going to need the space, hopefully a giant rock quarry wall next to the park, as well as most importantly the money to be able to build a magnitude of a ride like this. Now, there is one park in Texas that I think they might be able to do it because they have the space. They don't have the giant rock quarry wall, and they might not even have the money at this point, but who knows what's going to happen in 10 or 15 years from now. But Coda Land in Austin, Texas is a massive racing complex that features a small amusement park that's about to open up 2 impressive new Vekoma coasters in 2025 to go along with a giant raceway, a lot of other great attractions in this area. So again, could this park maybe build the fastest coaster? Potentially. Could they build the tallest? I mean, it could. I mean, you never know what could happen in the future, of course. And if the money's there, then who knows? Maybe Intamin is up to the task of breaking the height record for Falcon's flight. And there's one coaster model from Intamin that I think has most of us very, very intrigued by that could potentially break the height and the speed record is the Intamin Vertical LSM coaster. I love the concept, and I cannot wait to see more of these coasters get built, because if Intamin can make these coasters taller than Falcon's flight, just imagine getting launched up a 600-some foot tall tower, and then the train travels over the top of it and then spirals downwards. I mean, I would love something like that, and it sounds a lot like Kingda Ka, but it really isn't, since you're getting launched up the tower and it takes up less space. But either way, I sadly predict that there's no park out there, especially here in America, that has the money, the space, and the terrain out there that they could actually break the Falcon's flight records. Again, I wish it wasn't true, but I don't think there's any park again in America that could do it. With all the great roller coasters out there in the world, I have still yet to ride some of the best ones out there, and here are my top 10 bucket list coasters that I've not been on yet that I know you're going to enjoy learning about. So be sure to check out that video at the bottom of your screen. With that being said, what are your thoughts on Falcon's flight? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.